Today, I thought I would share with you how I stay high protein, so high animal based in Bangkok. And you can do this anywhere. It's probably easier in a Western country, but this is how I do it here. First of all, what I do is always have breakfast, and that generally always starts with some kind of eggs. If I'm staying in a hotel like I did when we first arrived here, then I simply order the omelette or, poached eggs or whatever it is I feel like on the day. So, eggs is always the starting point for me. It's easy, it's cheap here. It's actually cheap to get eggs here. I know it's not cheap to get eggs everywhere because it certainly wasn't when we were living in Australia, but here it is. So, eggs, butter, that's all I need. If I want to go out at that time of day, which I generally don't because Bangkok doesn't actually open till 10 a.m. It's very civilized. They kind of work the hours 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So breakfast time, I'm not usually out. But if I wanted to be, there are plenty of Western restaurants like the Breakfast Story and other cafes that offer a standard Western breakfast where I could order the bacon, the eggs, the sausages on the side and go as hardcore into the meat as I wish. So there's plenty of those sorts of options here. But again, I keep it pretty simple and just stick with eggs for the most part. Coffee can send you into fight or flight. So I tend to always have it after some sort of protein because the protein tells your body and your adrenals that you're safe, you've got everything you need, you're not running around. So it kind of blunts that response. So if I'm going to have a coffee, it will generally be after breakfast and before lunch at some point. Next comes lunch. And if I'm working from home, which I often am, then it might be eggs again, but I will mix it up and I will put in leftover meat. I always keep chicken and pork fully cooked, chopped, ready to go in the freezer, simply because life gets away from you sometimes and you don't always have the capacity and the bandwidth and the time to make yourself something decent for dinner. Here in Bangkok, you can go to any street food and grab yourself something high protein very easily. But sometimes it's not always possible for me to run downstairs and run up the street and get something to eat. So I always keep chopped up chicken, chopped up pork, fully cooked, ready to go. Yes, it's in plastic, which is not ideal, but I've got a very tiny freezer. So I just have to work with what I can. And it's more important for me to have protein ready to go than it is for me to worry about how do I fit glass containers in this tiny freezer. If we are out and about, I may have some form of street food. We may go to a cafe. I've had a lot of different options here. You can easily eat high protein here. Everything comes with rice or sticky rice. Just don't eat it or just have a mouthful of it and leave it at that. Sometimes I'll have it, sometimes I won't. It just kind of depends on my mood and where I'm at and how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling pretty good and like I'm on top of my inflammation and that kind of thing, I might have a bite or two of the rice. I might have the noodles. Generally, the noodles are rice noodles here also. So if I get a bowl of pork and noodles, it'll be rice noodles. I might have a mouthful of it. I might simply eat the pork and drink the broth and have a mouthful of the noodles, and that's about it. But there are plenty of options here when it comes to high protein everywhere you look. If you want to go high end and Western, we could go to Sizzler and have a steak. It's dearer, that's all. That's the difference. But you can get the protein at every level of your budget. And as I said, I always keep some sort of protein in my freezer at home. One of the things I actually really love here is that you can buy a chicken Maryland or a big thigh or a big piece of chicken at pretty much most of the little street carts and that sort of thing. And they're usually anywhere from 50 to 80 baht for a really big, decent size of chicken. And so 50 baht, that's about $2.50 for context. So often if we're out and about doing groceries and I see one of those carts, I'll get a piece of chicken and just eat the chicken. And they're usually really yummy. Some of them come with coatings and that sort of thing. Sometimes I have it, sometimes I don't. I don't beat myself up as long as the majority of my meal when I'm out and about is protein. I'm pretty good to go, but I am in maintenance phase now for the most part. So when it comes to weight loss and inflammation and all that sort of thing, if there's sauces on meat or things like that, I can get away with it here and there, because most of the time we do actually eat at home, to be honest. And it's just that I know I can control how the food is cooked, what I've cooked it in, what kind of oil, which is no oil, it's butter or some sort of animal fat. I can control that at home, which is more to the point of why I do it, because it's actually cheaper for the most part to eat out than it is to eat home. So eating at home is more about knowing what's being put on to my meat and into my food than anything else. Dinner is just as easy here in Bangkok as anywhere in the world. It has got every kind of food choice that you could possibly want for. You could go to the Argentinian steakhouse and eat up a storm. Kind of waste of money for me because I can't eat that much in one sitting. But there's Western restaurants, there's Thai restaurants, there's street food, there's meat on a stick everywhere you turn. So it's really not hard here to eat high protein and to stick to keto/carnivore, whatever your thing is, when you're eating out. Simply leave off the rice, leave off the noodles. If you get it, don't make a big deal of it. Just don't eat it. Put it to the side or give it to somebody else in your group that wants to eat that. That's okay. You don't have to. But there's plenty of choices for me. We just choose to eat at home more often than not. And we also choose to eat the lower end while we're finding our feet here. We stick to a budget. So we don't do a lot of Western restaurants at this point until we get a sense of where our budget's at, because it is a lot more expensive. For example, we can have chicken and rice for 70 baht at our local supermarket food court, or we could go to Sizzler and have the steak and salad bar, but that's more like 600 baht. So big difference, okay? So for context, the 70 baht item is $3.50. The 600 baht item is around $30. So huge difference for the budget. So we kind of figure out what our budget is, and then we just eat accordingly, but still choose the things that feel good to us. The thing that surprised me the most is I do add chili to things now, and I never thought I'd ever do that. Chili is a nightshade, but I'm not having any other nightshade, so it doesn't seem to affect me in any way. So while it doesn't, I'll keep eating it. And that's what I encourage you to do, is just knowing and understanding your body. So if you've got an even keel of what you eat and that you're feeling good, you'll notice pretty quickly if you add a sauce or a spice or a herb and it doesn't agree with you. So while I was carnivore pretty hardcore for a long time, now I'm more balanced and I don't mind having herbs, spices, sauces. I don't worry that the mu ping, which is my favorite meat on a stick ever here, which is pork flattened and it's got herbs and spices in it and some sort of natural like palm sugar or something, because it's sweet. There's no doubt about it, but it's delicious, but it doesn't affect me at all. I can have 3 or 4 mu pings on their own for dinner and feel perfectly fine the next day. My weight hasn't changed, my inflammation hasn't changed, that kind of thing. It's about knowing what you can handle and what your body can handle as to what you need to find around you. Otherwise, I could just choose on the same, we call him the meat man, his cart, I could choose the chicken sticks, which is just pieces of chicken. But I can choose the mu ping because I know whatever's in there that he makes from scratch every day. That's also a key thing here, is that they make their food from scratch each day. They don't believe in leftovers. So I have to wonder how much that contributes to me feeling well. Interesting, right? Because we love leftovers in the Western world. We put them in the fridge and we eat them for 2 or 3 days running, whereas they don't do that here. They make what they need to make, they sell it, they start again the next day. So everything's really fresh and been made from scratch. So it's just an interesting thing that I have watched from my time being here. And lastly, when it comes to snacks, well, boiled eggs are a great snack. And as you can tell, I eat a lot of eggs here. And that's because they're so cheap and they're fresh. I don't think they're held in cold storage for a very long time at all, like they would be in the Western world. So eggs are a great snack. Meat, once again, on a stick is a great snack. Chicken is a great snack. It's kind of the same as my meals. I don't really do snacks as such. Sometimes I'll do fruit if I've gotten some fruit or avocado from the markets. That's where I'm finding that balance now and that I seem to be okay with it. So if I need that, if I want that kind of thing, I will have it. If I've got it, I'll have it. But for the most part, I just keep to my same kind of repetitive meats and that kind of thing to keep me going. And let's face it, we all repeat our meals anyway. We repeat, Friday night fish and chips. We repeat Tuesday night spag bowl night or whatever it is for us. So this is just about me finding my own repetitive happy place with my meals, and it's really super easy. So don't be put off going on holidays to places like Bangkok and Vietnam and that kind of thing. We're going to Vietnam soon, so I will let you know how I go eating there. But it's very much about finding the meat. Just, oh, there's meat. Don't eat the rice. And go from there. So I think that you'll find it very easy to stay high protein or meat based if you're in a place like Bangkok.